My name is Oscar Garza. I am a songwriter and producer, and I work primarily in the regional Mexican industry. And I live in LA currently, from Illinois, and right now we are in my home setup. I started when I was around 15, 16, if I wanted to pinpoint it, but I think I've been doing this, my whole life. I've always been interested in it. I'm sure you can find videos of me when I was a kid, just singing and dancing at home. I didn't start getting paid or making any money from it till about I was maybe 23. I'm 32 now, so that time frame is pretty big. So regional Mexican music originally, was referred to a lot of today's youth as tío music. Tío is uncle in Spanish, and it's just that uncle that you would see at the family gatherings or the barbecues, and they throw on a corrido, Los Tigres del Norte or Los Tucanes de Tijuana, all these things. And it was just music you get drunk to, you just have fun to, but we grew up with it, but it was not cool. It was kind of one of those things like, oh man, turn it down, if we're pulling up to school or something. And it's really cool to see that now it's been modernized. A lot of the people that are doing the music now, including myself and everybody else that's even younger than me, we grew up in the States. So we grew up with this influence of hip hop, R&B, country even, and urban Latin like reggaeton, and it's cool to see that how all these influences that we grew up with, we're fusing it into today's modern regional Mexican. There are some core elements to the music as far as la guitarra. You take the guitar, el requinto, which is the 12 string, and your upright bass, which is in Spanish we call el tolo. And those are the bases of most, modern corridos. Basically, my home setup, as you can see here, is very simple. I have, these two monitors, the Apogee interface, my laptop, and then I have a mic that's off screen. But it's, as a songwriter, it's essential for me to be able to get music out quickly, right? My primary job is to produce the music and just write and record over it, right? And send it off to an artist, pitch it, do whatever I need to do. I can get a lot of work done here. In fact, even just a few days ago, we recorded a new track. We're not sure exactly what we're gonna do with it yet, but it sounds really cool. This setup allows me to record everything cleanly the way I need it for my engineer to mix it. And we do have another setup in North Hollywood. That studio is still under construction. We still have, a few pieces missing to make it look really cool, but it is in use. It is in use currently, and I believe we have a similar setup right now temporarily. I kind of prefer this, honestly. I prefer using the Apogee, products and just being able to record in the comfort of my own home. This is my first time using the Duet 3, and I've used other interfaces before. Literally all the way down to the, M Audio, the Scarlett. I've used all these other products, and I think there was always like a hiss. I don't know if it was maybe user error, but I feel like the Duet 3 has been the easiest, product to use. I think this interface is very seamless. It literally, I don't think I even had to really do much to it other than just install the control app, which even then I was like, it was plug and play. Like even the recordings, my engineer himself was like, yo man, where'd you record this? What studio were you at? And I was like, man, this is my house. He's like, dude, the takes are really clean. It doesn't clutter my workspace, having to plug everything up, on the desk. I love it. It's very user-friendly. The song I recently wrote for Junior H and Peso Pluma, shout out to Junior H, shout out to Peso Pluma and the whole team that was behind this song. I think this could be good advice for any songwriter. A lot of times we fall in love with our work, obviously, because it's our work. We are very passionate about it. We love what we do, and it's our baby. We hold on to these things, I wrote A Tu Manera. This is the song that Junior H and Peso Pluma performed, and they recently released earlier this year. A Tu Manera was written about a year ago, maybe April of 2023. And the cool thing about that song was it was one of those songs that you don't realize, it's a hit in the making, right? Me personally, I always feel like everything I do is great. You just got to believe in yourself, right? That's just how it goes. You have to believe in yourself before anybody else does. But it's one of those songs where it was a very fun session. It was just something where we wanted to do a callback to the old Mexican music of back in the day. Boleros. Boleros were very popular in Mexico, in the 30s, 40s, I believe. And I really wanted to make a callback to that era. And I said to my buddy Krizos, he's a producer, Great producer, by the way. I said to him, I was like, man, let's make something that references this. Let's make something inspired by bolero, but make it modern. And we put our brains together. We were just making the song, and at first he was like, no, it's not gonna work, and I'm like, no, it'll work. I trust you, man. Just you gotta believe in yourself. We put the song together. I recorded it, and I was getting ready to release it. I was just gonna, to my 10 followers, I don't know. And but I was really proud of the work, and I know he showed it to Junior H, and Junior loved it. Junior loved it, and I was excited. And he was like, yo, he wants to record it. Bro, let him record it. Of course, give it to him. Like, let's make it happen, I walked into the session, and I was part of that whole recording process when he did the song. We did some tweaks to it even after the recording. But, it ended up being this massive hit with his followers. And it was really cool to see that this vision came to life, but it wouldn't have happened if I would have been too attached to the record, which is what happens. A lot of people, sometimes we get too attached to the record, or it just sits in our laptop for, I don't know, God knows how many years, and for the right moment, and then it's just, you know what, you just either put it out or give it to somebody. Let somebody else put it out. But that's how that whole thing came to be, it was never meant to be a placement record. It was just a record, and it was a record that we had fun creating, and it ended up being a hit. For up-and-coming songwriters, I think the best advice would be to don't overthink. I think overthinking is probably one of my worst enemies, and I'm guilty of falling for this too. When you overthink, it takes the feeling away, because now it's more of a chore, and music is not a chore. It shouldn't be. It should be a feeling, right? And I think that the less you think about what you're saying or how you're saying it, and just maybe focus more on how it's being delivered in the melody, that's the best thing you can do. Just, don't overthink the lyrics, don't overthink, your ability even, because I've been in that point where I'm in the room and I'm like, am I good enough to be here? There's a lot of imposter syndrome sometimes that comes with this, but, just believe in your own abilities and don't overthink. Just follow the feeling and have fun. I mean, that's all it is, right? It's just music. There's no rules.
La muñeca dorada, los diamantes me bailan, ser mejor que ayer